I think we've all heard the phrase that time is money. Somewhere, someone has said it to you, you've seen it in a movie, maybe you've read it. What does that exactly mean, time is money? A recent Time Watch survey showed that only 12% or so have an actual time management plan, yet over 90% say they value their time and money. So where is the disconnect? Where are we going wrong? Today, we're going to explore the value of our time and our money. Today, we live in a fast-paced, grind-away culture that seems to only place value on the time that we spend trying to get rich, play rich, or live above our means so we can pretend to be rich. But what are we really doing? Are we really placing a serious value on our time when we're working so hard to just keep up with the Joneses and then go out and frivolously spend our money through impulse buying? Isn't that just us working really hard and then losing our money? And in essence, losing the hard-working time that we spent doing that. Why would we even do this? Many people are doing this because they're trying to live above their means, trying to impress people that they don't really know or don't even really like. Dolly Parton, the famous country artist, said, "Never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life." What did she mean by that? I don't think it's ever been more prevalent in our society that everybody's running around trying to get rich or pretend to be rich, and they're forgetting to actually live a life. See, life has certain components, and time is one of those components. I feel like we have time, we have life, and then we have money. Time and life, a lot of people mistake for the same thing, but they really aren't. I mean, time is just a unit of measurement. It's just increments that we use to count the time that's gone by and things that have happened in our life. But life is more about the experiences. It's more about how we feel in the moment. It's about how we feel about what we've done. It's really about fulfillment and happiness, and we shouldn't confuse the two. Money is just the fuel that we need to get through our life. It's just the fuel that gets us from A to B, and we're just using that as a byproduct. Money is just really a byproduct of our time. We go to work, we make money, and then we use it in our life. But we shouldn't confuse the three things of time, life, and money. I think it was Lily Tomlin who said, even if you win the rat race, well, you're still a rat. And I myself have been caught and trapped in that rat race. For many, many years, I worked, I toured, I traveled, I was doing gigs, I was running my entrepreneurial businesses, and just felt like I was spinning like a mouse on a wheel. When I was a kid, I worked with my dad. My dad taught me how to work with my hands. Now, I never shied away from hard work. We did manual labor and construction, and I was the type of kid who was not afraid to work nights and weekends and days off of school and holidays. I didn't mind that, but I did reach a point in my late 20s, early 30s, and where I felt like I was tired all the time. I wasn't really happy. And even though I had some money, I just felt like I wasn't alive. I wasn't living my best life. I just didn't feel like I was living. And for the first time in my life, I became a little bit depressed. And I don't get depressed. And I said, what is this? This was a total new feeling for me that I almost didn't recognize. And I eventually saw it as the fact that I wasn't really doing anything that I wanted to do. I mean, I was enjoying certain aspects of the business. I was getting to travel. I was doing road work. I was performing. I had some other businesses that I was running, being a young entrepreneur. And I had some money, but I wasn't happy because I didn't feel like I was balancing my work life. I've talked to people, much later on in life who are in similar circumstances, meaning people in their 50s and 60s that just spent a whole life on that hamster wheel. And they woke up one day and they wanted to do all kinds of things, but all this time had passed and now their hip hurt and they have doctor's appointments and they've got a medication schedule. And at just the point in time that they should be enjoying their lives and being out there in the world, they don't really feel like they can. And they certainly don't feel good enough to do that. So it becomes a struggle. The one thing we do have to find is a work-life balance. It's okay to be aggressive. It's okay to want to make money. It's okay to even want to get rich. But where's the happy medium in which you are working, you are enjoying your life, and you are doing the right things with your money? Because if you do the right things with your money, then enjoying your life all along the way is an actual possibility. One day I woke up and I said, what does my perfect day look like? I mean, what does a perfect day in the life of Daniel Margasa really look like? And I don't mean a day, heli skiing in Aspen or twisting throttle on my dirt bike out in Arizona or diving into a pool in Portugal. Yes, I want to travel. I want to do things. I want to enjoy my weekends. But what does just my average work-life balanced day look like? How does that appear? So I looked at all the things that I wanted to do, and I actually started to write things down. And I made a little list. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a taste of how my life looks like today and what my work-life balance looks like, because I love all my businesses. I love what I do. I spend a lot of time, working, maybe not as much as some others, but I tend to see my time as very valuable, so I try and make it as productive as possible and don't allow people to hijack it. I don't wake up early. My work day, or my day actually starts between 7:30 and 8:30. That's when I officially will get out of bed. You see, I'm on rockstar hours. I'm up very late, and I also keep myself on those hours because of performance schedules. So I may have to be on a stage very late, or 2 nights ago I was in a studio in Dallas, and we didn't even get into the studio till 10 p.m. at night, and that session went till almost 11:30. So I have to feel at 11 o'clock at night like most people feel at 11 in the morning. So I kind of stay on that late night schedule, and it's okay because I'm a late night person and I don't require a lot of sleep. But I get out of bed between 7:30 and 8:30 in the morning. Very first thing I do is put on some jazz in the background and then go make my first cup of coffee. While the coffee is brewing, I'll drink some water. I like to rehydrate in the morning. Maybe have a spot of coffee and then go for a run. In the morning, I tend to run maybe 2 or 3 miles. A short run, literally just to get my blood flowing. I get back from the run and I have a light breakfast, very light, and I'll take a shower and then hop in the car and go off to one of my shops. So I tend to get to work, like to actual work, like one of my businesses, by about 10 a.m. I never really start my workday till 10 a.m. Another thing to consider is that I don't answer my phone before 10 a.m. I never take a call before 10 a.m. unless it's an absolute emergency. A lot of people will, start answering their phone the second they get up, but I don't allow people to hijack my day in that way. I only have 2 to 2.5 hours in the morning before I would like to be into one of my shops, so I take that time from me to do the things I want to do. It's one of the ways that I fulfill myself and feel good about starting my day, is I don't answer my phone before 10 o'clock. Once 10 o'clock hits, I'm usually at my shop, and then I'll answer my phone. But even then, depending on the call that's coming in, I may delegate. I may give that call to someone else and say, handle this customer, or just handle this call, and we'll circle back at the end of the day and I'll deal with the most important things. For me, my work day will go from about 10 to 3 or 3:30. And a lot of people will say, well, you only spend like 5 hours at work. Kinda, some days less than that, but you have to remember, when I get to work, I hit the ground running. I'm the most productive person I know, even in the shop. So I tend to get the work of 2 or 3 people done in 5 hours that they don't get done in 8 hours, because I'm not allowing people to hijack my day. When someone comes into the shop and wants to show me all kinds of pictures in their phone or tell me a long story, I usually tend to dismiss it politely but very quickly so I can get back to work. I go in with an agenda and a list and a punch list of what I want to get done, and that's it. By 3 or 3:30, I'm headed out of the shop. And I delegate and let people know what needs to be done, because they're going to be there till the end of the day. And then I head on home. Now, why do I leave at 3 or 3:30? Because by 4 o'clock, I like to be into my workout. So I have a gym at home, And another way I don't allow people to hijack my time is I work out at home. I work out alone. If you go to a gym, I really feel like that's more about the social aspect. Now, I'm not bagging on gyms. Some people like to go to a gym, but I don't want to talk to anyone when I'm working out. I like to focus. And for me, my workout time is sort of like a dual entity. Part of that time, I'm either getting caught up on news or I am listening to another audio program on, history of finance in some way, learning about what happened way back when with money. So I'm always learning. I'm always engaged. But that's kind of my time to do that. Maybe I'm listening to another YouTube podcast, or maybe I'm listening to an audiobook. But I'm working out and I'm not talking to anyone. No one's talking to me. No one's hijacking my time. I'm literally getting my workout done and then moving on. And at the same time, I feel like I'm feeding my soul because I'm getting some information that I desperately want. And that's a good time for me to do it. Then I'll go out for a really short second run for about 20 minutes, or sometimes a bike ride. If I go for a bike ride, it'll be a little bit longer because maybe I'll do 5 or 6 miles. But I do this because I like the cardio. Being as active as I am, especially being a traveling and touring musician, I'm on the road, I'm playing drums, I'm playing guitar, I'm jumping around stage, doing whatever I'm doing, and or up in studios, very late at night. So I like to have stamina, and working out and sometimes doing that 2 runs or a run and a bike ride later on really helps me with my health and my stamina. So it's something good for me. But I also love to do it. When I'm out there pedaling on my bike, I'm usually listening to music or maybe another talk show. And I feel like, once again, I'm, killing 2 birds with 1 stone and getting something else done. So I feel extremely productive. I spend about 2 hours in the evening from 5:30 to 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock. That's more likely when you're going to get a call from me. That's when I'm going to return calls. That's when I'm going to go over my notes from the day, maybe make my notes for the next day. If I have to do anything online, that's the time I'm going to do it. If I'm going to answer an email or make a list to delegate for the next day, I do it all right then. So that kind of 2.5 hours, I'm in my office, I'm working on books, I'm working on talks, and I'm organizing my calendar for all the upcoming events and things that I have going on. So that's my time to do that. And since I'm more of an evening person, you have to remember, for me, I'm up really late. So 4 or 5 o'clock is really the middle of my day. That's the time for me to kind of get into that type of work. After that, I want to have dinner. Dinner usually is between 7:30 and 8:30. If it's a night where we're going out, we'll head out somewhere and have a nice dinner. If it is a night where we're cooking, then maybe I'll head into the kitchen and start cooking, which we love to cook. It's kind of about a 70-30 split in this house that we'll, eat out maybe 20 to 30% of the time. And the rest of the time we're cooking. Love to cook. After dinner, that's most people's time, I feel, that they really are starting to wind down, right? Like for the average person, you're winding down after dinner. Maybe you're watching a little TV, your favorite show. Maybe you're having a beer or dessert or whatever. For me, that's a very short period of time. I kind of wind down for very little just to kind of recharge my batteries after dinner and digest, hopefully. And then I'm off to the studio. So I like late night working in the studio. I'm most creative. If I'm working on a song, that's the time to do it. If I need to practice because I have gigs coming up and I'm learning material, that's my time to do it. Sometimes I'll go back to work, meaning if the studio has a song that they're mixing for a client, maybe I'll listen back and do a little mixing in the evening. But, kind of from like 9 to midnight is my time, once again, to kind of be creative and maybe practice, maybe play a little guitar, maybe play a little drums, maybe work on some music. I feel like that's also my time to kind of start winding down. I'm being creative, but it's really just me most of the time in the studio. And I can just set myself up for the next day, both mentally and physically. I never really crawl into bed before midnight, 1 o'clock. That's just kind of my schedule. Like I said, I'm always kind of on rock star hours. So from midnight to 12:30, 1 o'clock. That's the time I'll get to bed. Thank goodness I'm not a person who requires a ton of sleep. If I get 6 hours sleep, 7 hours sleep, like I'm really good. Like I'm good to go the next day. Sometimes I can get more than that, and that's great. But, if I only am allowing myself, that 6, 7 hours, I'm usually really good to go the next day without much issue. You need that time. I work pretty hard when I'm working, but it's very, very specific. So I'm constantly looking for that work-life balance. And to do that, you have to feed your soul. Not every ounce of my day and every inch of my day is about making money. Plus, I know that if most of the time I'm budgeting, I'm saving, I'm putting money in my POM account, and I'm doing the right things business-wise and living-wise, then I don't look for those escapes where I have to spend all this money and constantly think about work and constantly think about getting rich. If you do the right things, then getting rich slowly is totally okay. I don't have a problem with that, and you should neither. Going to be different for everyone. Maybe you have to sit down and say, what does my perfect day look like? And I'm not talking about a perfect day of shopping on Rodeo Drive like the Kardashians. I'm talking about, you balancing. You have to go to work, you have to make some money, you want to live, you want to have a life, but you also want to have a little money so that you have a future. You don't want to rob from yourself today so you can just go out and party time all the time and then suffer later on. To truly live a rich life, it's not about living a rich life in terms of monetary life. To truly live a rich life, it's living a life that is fulfilled. It's about fulfillment and happiness. And if you have that balance in your life where you have a little money, you have a little time, but you feel like you're living your best life and you are fulfilled without going broke, then I think you will be more satisfied in the long run. My name is Daniel F Margasa. You are watching the Almost Criminal Millionaire channel. And if you enjoy learning about the topic of money and the health and wealth of your finances, then please like and subscribe for more.